PG-23. It's still finding its way, but it's ambitious.
It's
an ambitious production. Zach Penn.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Doug, of course, you know, you and I go back a long time. You've had an extensive career. You've done a lot of stuff with different characters. And in particular, you have a fabled, muse-like relationship with Guillermo del Toro. So we have any Del Toro fans out there? A lot of fantastic characters. Abe Sapien from Hellboys was, I think, an amazing character. The ghosts from Crimson Peak are amazing. And then, of course, another favorite of mine, I don't know how many of you realize that Doug was the Silver Surfer. So was that, let's just quickly talk about Silver Surfer. Was that like a motion capture thing in that case?
No, I was in a rubber costume makeup every day, and they had put CG enhancements over me in post-production.
I see.
So I looked like the Silver Surfer.
But it was mainly practical.
Well, actually, it was a combination of both, honestly. By the end product, it looked very CG-ish because it was half and half, yeah.
You also a couple of creepy characters in Pan's Labyrinth that I love.
Yes, and Fauno and the Pale Man, yeah.
So you have been throughout your life going through Shape of Water is a magnificent film.
Thank you.
I would describe you as the Lon Chaney senior of our generation.
Bless you.
And I would consider that high praise.
The highest praise. Thank you.
You are a man who can transform any character. You will reveal the soul of any character no matter what form you take. And I think that's the highest accolade you can get as an actor. Well, I'm inspired by both of you guys. I wish I had more time to talk to you, but we have a pretty short segment. I want to open it out to the audience. Why don't we start over there? We'll go back and forth across the room, okay?
Hi there, welcome to both of you. Mike, for Mr. Jones, Saru was my favorite character in Discovery, and I just wanted to say I've loved you ever since before I even know who you were, like as Mac Tonight for the McDonald's commercials. My parents met at McDonald's, and so I was a big McDonald's buff as a kid. In fact, I work at McDonald's now too. So I just wanted to say, do you have any insights into how you got the role as the mascot for the Big Mac?
Does anyone remember the Mac Tonight campaign for McDonald's?
Yes.
Crescent Moon sang the piano. I was doing a lot of commercial auditions back in that day, and I've done over 100 commercials in my life. That one, I remember getting a call for a nightclub singer-looking guy to go, and I didn't have much information. So I go to this audition, and I see a room full of gray-haired, like Sinatra, Dean Martin kind of looking guys in there, and I'm like, I was 27, 26 at the time, looking like this, going, I don't fit in here at all. And then I saw some storyboards on the wall that had been taped up with like, oh, there's a crescent moon. That's why I'm here. Okay. So I went into an audition and they had us get familiar with the lyrics of this song. So it was the Mac the Knife song that rewritten with McDonald's lyrics. So it was Mac Tonight. And I know. And so we got familiar with the lyrics, and so we kind of lip synced along. And I did this audition at a keyboard, kind of going, hey, and they were like, that's great. Let's do another take of that, and we're gonna put this paper bag on your head. So they could see how the body, because they didn't have the moon head made yet. So it's like now they want to see how the body does without the face. I'm like, this is humiliating, right? But I booked the gig, and 27 commercials, and 3 years later, I bought my first house. So, thank you. Thank you, McDonald's.
There we go. Thank you, McDonald's. Over here.
Hi, Tara and Doug. I'm Jason. First of all, Doug, you answered all my questions already when it came to the shoes and the walking, so thank you for reading my mind. I appreciate that. Tara, you guys embrace IDIC so well. You guys did such a phenomenal job with that, and it's just amazing. However, you had a lot of prosthetics to get through, especially when it came to kissing Mr. Jones there. How was that? How did you deal with that? How did that change any methods that you might normally use?
That's a great question, and I have to say when I read the script I was a little bit nervous about how it would read. because of course you want it to be completely believable. And I remember Doug and I chatted about it, and he's like, well, you've seen...
I sent you a photo
That's
from
right.
The Shape of Water.
He sent me a photo from The Kiss of Shape of Water, and I was like, you know what, that sells. That absolutely does. So on the day, just showed up and loved each other and did the deed, and they were pretty. They were
A long-awaited kiss.
and I remember. I'm forgetting the director. Sorry, I'm menopausal. I'm very tired. Olatunde, he's like, guys, that was so beautiful. Like he was ecstatic about what he read on the screen, and so you know if he's happy and I actually did watch it. I do watch my work on screen because I feel I can learn a lot from it, and I was like, that was really beautiful. I thought it was beautiful. Yeah.
It was tender and poignant, as opposed to Shape of Water, which was downright steamy.
Come on now.
Oh my goodness. Wowzers. Okay.
Hi, Doug and Tara. Thank you for coming. I'm Lisa from Vegas. So thank you for always coming every year and always still come back because we always want our actions Saru. And we always need our hugs because we need you at the beginning of the con to get us through the rest of the con. Because your hugs are magic. Everyone at the convention knows it. That's what gets us through what we look forward to every convention. So now that we don't have you to look forward to for disco, which a lot of us were, of course, disappointed that we didn't get a couple more years. What do we have forward to looking for? What do we have? Sorry. I'm sorry. I just love my Dougie so
What do we
much.
have to look forward
What
to?
do we have to look forward to for
Yeah.
both of you, actually? So thank you.
Okay, for me, the next thing coming up, October 21st, we'll begin season 6 of What We Do in the Shadows. So, Battle for Nazis back for more episodes. A few more. And I also have been doing a lot of work without rubber on my face for the last year and a half. So I've got about 6 or 7 movies that I've done that are not out yet. One of them is a Nosferatu remake that, now I don't want to confuse, there's 2 Nosferatus coming. One's a big one, big studio, starring Bill Skarsgård, in the same role I did. He's younger, hotter, more famous than me, whatever. But, yeah, so that one comes out in December in theaters, and ours doesn't have distribution yet, but it is finished. And it's an homage to the first silent film, so it's scene for scene the same as the original Nosferatu, but with dialogue and sound and new actors, but with the backdrop that has been created digitally off the old movie. So it's a combination of both. It's gonna be really cool, yeah. Thank you for asking.
And Tara?
I'm on a completely new adventure currently. I'm at the Shaw Festival, but in the capacity of an intern director. All my life I've loved going on new adventures and always learning new things. So I've assistant directed on a couple of plays this year, and I just started rehearsing a one-act play that you're welcome to come and see in the Studio Theater at the Shaw Festival on September the 20th. It's a Tennessee Williams one-act play.
That's heavy.
Tara, what's the seating at the theater? Do you have several theaters?
The Shaw Festival has 3 stages. So the main stage is 800, the capacity.
Fantastic.
And then the Royal George is about 4, and the studio's 2.
You don't actually have a 99 black box, but you've got a 200, a 400, and an 800.
That's right, yeah. And they're all different configurations. The main stage is a pros
Awesome.
with the courthouses as well, and the studio's in the round.
That's fabulous. Where are we? Over on this side, please.
Hi there. My question is for Doug. Hi. I have been a fan of your work ever since Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Way back. Speaking of the favorite vampire series in the world, What We Do in the Shadows, please tell me it's as fun to make as it is to watch. The answer is yes.
Thank you. The answer is yes. We laugh all day on set. Working with the funniest writers in the world, the funniest actors in the world. And here's what the fun thing we get to do. Even though the scripts are brilliant and hilarious, and you laugh out loud while you're reading them, when you're playing these scenes out on the show, we do a couple of takes as written, and then they give us the fun run. right? So we get to go off script as much as we want. We're encouraged to go off the script as much as we want, and some wonderful, hilarious gems come out of that. Yeah, so that's a good time. Thank you.
Such a great show. Yes, over here.
Hi, thank you both for being here. My question is for Mr. Jones. What sort of advice would you give to people who are looking to get into creature acting?
Well, first of all, I would want you to want to get into acting first, right? The creature thing is a character you will play among all the characters that you will play in your acting career. As an actor, you need to investigate the internal, what's the character's wants, needs, loves, desires, how do they play with other characters, all those things that an actor should prepare for any role, whether it's human or monster. And then with the added layer bits that go on with the look that brings a monster on, that's an added step you have to take is, okay, I see a design here. I need to come up with a physicality for this as well. Is it an animal-man hybrid? Is it an alien being? What's the beginnings of this? And how do I incorporate that into my ecosystem? Your director's going to be a big help too, to give you notes and idiosyncrasies, quirks they want to see out of this character. So it's a layered process, a multi-step process. And so for an actor wanting to get into that type of role, be a really good actor first, and then also be physically prepared for what's to come, because it's a lot. I have a training as a mime. Way back in the day, I started as a mime. And so being very physically aware and having a lot of physical, visual dialogue to your persona, that plays into those characters way a lot too. Thank you.
Put it this way, Marcel Marceau looks up to Doug. All right, yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you both. I want to say for both of you that the way that you play the relationship between Tarina and Saru is really meaningful to me as someone who found love later in life. And I'm curious if you can share a little bit about your inspiration and how did you approach that kind of love differently than you might have if it were an earlier love story?
That's a great question. I'm not sure I know. I mean, so much of it was in the writing, and so much of it just came into being because you have a Vulcan and a Kelpian. It was like out of the exchange of these two entities, that this very tender, kind of poetic. The nature of the romance just seemed to evolve naturally from who we were and the writing we were given, desire.
You know, in season 3, when Tarina was introduced to our show, she would guest star on one episode. She came aboard to do something very diplomatic and that involved Michael Burnham and all the thing between, what was that ceremony called that we had to do on the ship? And you were there to oversee some of that. Anyway, well, during her visit to Starship Discovery, I was kind of like I was the captain, and so I was her host, and we walked around the ship, and I showed you around, but when she first appeared in a hologram on our bridge, Saru went, right? And by the end of the show, we'd gotten to know each other, and it seemed like we were two characters from different species that were very poised, very diplomatic, very sense of duty, both of us. And also had never had romance before. I think we found a soulmate in each other immediately. And by the end of that episode, when we were saying our goodbyes, Navarre, her planet, was still in negotiations to join the Federation again. So I mentioned that, well, I know we're not there yet, but in the meantime, I would like our conversations to continue. That's like do you want to do coffee, isn't it? And she said, I would like that. And we said our goodbyes with a Vulcan salute, and then she beams out and I look out the window. If that's not a lovelorn Saru, so I asked our head writer, Michelle Paradise, is that where you're heading these two characters, right? And she goes, huh. Hadn't thought of that. Right?
Well, it's true because initially Trina was just supposed to be a one-off. Like she was just supposed to show up for the one episode. So the whole romance thing was a magnificent surprise.
But it made perfect sense to you and I, because we both were like, this is where this is headed, right? Because the connection was just immediate. I love Tara anyway as a person, so we got along. Our chemistry was there already, I think. So when the writers saw that, I think they brought her back in season 4 for that courtship to happen, very, very prim and proper like. It was like watching an English frock drama, wasn't it? Because at the end of season 4, we finally led up to a handhold. And the audience went nuts, right? Finally, something, yeah. Thank you.
Hello, thank you for coming. You two are beautiful. I think your romance was one of the best in Trek history. And I was so afraid that the writers were gonna break you up. I was just on pins and needles, was hoping the wedding was gonna happen, So were you ever afraid that maybe the writers would change their minds and go in a different direction?
I wasn't, because, when season 5 was about to start filming, Michelle Paradise, our head writer again, had a little Zoom call with me to say, how much do you want to know about the coming season? And I said, I don't know everything. And one thing, is the love between Tarina and Saru going to continue? She said, oh, I think you'll be very happy with where that's headed. So I never had to worry.
I didn't get to have that conversation with Michelle Paradise, but I never doubted. No, I could see the way they were setting it up in the writing, and because there was episodes that neither of us were in, that they left that open in terms of the viewership to speculate that something might happen. But no, I kind of felt that we were going the full distance.
And we lived happily ever after.
You did. Please continue to come back and visit us, okay? You're part of the Trek family. Please don't
We'll
abandon
continue to
don't
invite
abandon us.
them.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
I have a non-Star Trek question for Doug, if that's okay. Mr. Jones, ever since I saw Happy-Go-Lucky 15 years ago,
Yes.
Sally Hawkins has been one of my celebrity crushes. I was just wondering if working on a Sally Hawkins movie was just another job, or was there anything special about it? Or how would you describe this, working on a Sally Hawkins movie?
Right, Sally Hawkins, my co-star from The Shape of Water. She played Eliza. She is a unicorn. She is a magical fairy that kind of just flittered down from somewhere with fairy dust around her. Yeah. And I will tell you this, and I told you this, Tara Rosling and Sally Hawkins are the two leading ladies that I have most enjoyed connecting with on film in my entire career. I'm not, and 38 years. Okay, you hear me? It's true, because when the camera rolls, something magical and real is happening, that you're just living and breathing a moment without being aware that you're on film. That's an actor's dream, to hit that spot, those sweet spots. And this one too. With Tara, we all jokingly called her Judi Dench, because she's like a young Judi Dench. She's that good, when she steps on and does a monologue in those beautiful gowns and is so poised and confident with her delivery. It's like, shut. We all were intimidated to be working with her. Okay, Judi Dench, yeah, you just do you over there. We'll be I'm her Jerry Lewis to her Judi Dench.
Thank you very much.
Doug, was Sally in Pan's Labyrinth?
No, that was Ivana Baccaro's little girl at that age. So I'm trying to think of it. No, and the rest was a Spanish cast from Spain. Yeah.
Right. Yes.
So your characters both went on such huge journeys throughout the show, and you played them beautifully. And so I'm curious, through those journeys of portraying your characters, what was a way you grew and changed through that journey? And so how did playing the characters affect you?
It's an easy one for me to answer. Saru went on such a journey with a rank change, everything from starting out as a lieutenant commander, going all the way through first officers, captains, and now an ambassador. That's a lot of change professionally, and also physically. We talked about going through Vaharai, and going from fearful and looking over his shoulder to see where the next threat was coming from, to being confident and poised and courageous when the time called for it, and becoming action Saru at the right time, right? All of that were things that me personally, I learned from playing Saru, because I've dealt with anxiety and fear all my life myself. If tomorrow has a blank spot in it, that I don't know what's coming, I'll be afraid of it, right? So, but Saru, when he lost his threat ganglia and had that newfound fearless confidence, the world around him hadn't changed a lick. Dangers and threats will come at you every day, no matter what. But his reaction to it all had changed. That's a lesson for all of us humans. I think, our attitude and how we react to things, we have control over that. We don't have control over what comes at us, but we do have control over how we respond to it. I learned a lot from that, from playing Saru.
You were also blessed with an incredible ensemble, just an amazing ensemble that you guys could play off of, and it was so magical.
Hi, Mr. Jones. I grew up in the mid-90s and fell in love with horror films and monster movies. Before I ask you a question, I just really want to say, and I truly believe, 70 to 90 years from now, when we look back in the history of monster films, we're going to look at these eras of Lon Chaney and Christopher Lee, and we are living right now in the era of Doug Jones. And it is a privilege, it is a true privilege to be watching that era of movies and that media still being created, and I cannot wait to see what comes next in your career. Can you please share with us, just because of my love of monsters, a memorable, maybe a great or an awful experience in a costume? And as a quick follow-up, I see you're wearing a pin. I was wondering if that had any meaning you'd be willing to share as well.
You might recognize this brooch. This is Saru's Kaminar High Council pin. Yes, last episode of the show, I took it with me. They saw me do it, it's okay, I didn't steal it, but yeah. So this is actually screen-worn Saru's pin. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, you brought me to tears with that. Thank you. I'm a blubbering mess here now. So, what was the question?
Challenge.
Could you share like a memorable experience getting into or out of makeup, maybe a great one, or just oh my god, this is a disaster, I can't believe it.
Yeah, they're all great. They're all disasters in their own way. A lot of big challenges in becoming a monster. But the rewarding part is, I think on the, when you are, I had these experiences on both Pan's Labyrinth and The Shape of Water, both Oscar contender movies, right? Both multiple nominations and multiple wins for each one of them. And when you're going through the hell it takes to make these movies happen, when I, on the set of Pan's Labyrinth, it was on the set of Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, I'm sorry. But thank you. Guillermo del Toro directed all of these, by the way. And so director-actor relationship is everything to me. And he came shuffling up to me one day on the set of one of these movies, and I was like, kind of taking a breather between takes, between shot setups. And Guillermo put his hand on my forearm, and he said, "I know we are killing you, my friend." And he followed up by saying, "But there will be pilgrimages to your grave." So that's a memory that stuck with me. And then when you see the finished product and you are attending the Oscars yourself and Best Picture is called and you get to go up on stage to help receive that award, that's kind of a good payoff for all the help, isn't it? Yeah.
Doug, would you say that Guillermo, because he's such an artist and visual guy, created many of those monster looks himself? Did he originate those designs?
He has a big hand in it. Yeah, he started as a makeup artist, monster maker in Mexico himself. When he started filmmaking, he wanted to make films, but he also wanted to have monsters in them, so he made them himself and filmed them himself. So he has a big hand in design. This guy came out of his sketchbook, yes, from Pan's Labyrinth, yeah. So
Seriously disturbed dude.
He's not well. He's not well at all.
He's a wonderful man, by the way. Still wonderful. We love him. Yes, please. Looks like I think we've got time for, just
yes.
one more question. I'm so sorry.
Okay, hi. Thank you for being here. This question's for Doug. Considering your body of work and all the characters that you've done, what's the longest you've sat in a makeup chair?
Everybody wants to know this one, yeah. Depending on the character, can be anywhere from 2 hours a day to 7 hours a day. For Hellboy 1, the Abe Sapien was 12 prosthetic pieces from head to toe, blended edges on shaved skin that had to be painted. It was just, and 3 makeup artists, took 7 hours a day. Yeah, so that makes your day, and then you film for 12, and then you have 2 hours of taking it off. So it's a challenging life for a young person, and I'm not that anymore. Right here.
It's been amazing, you guys. Thank you so much for your generosity and your time. Tara Rosling and Doug Jones.